I'm Duke Beefhammer, and you're watching the Dookie Channel. Hello everybody, it's me, Duke Beefhammer, and today we're going to talk about wrestling and not video games. Because wrestling is everywhere, even here in the holidays, and I can prove that to you. Because we're making movies, pal. Wrestling is full of stories of people overcoming the odds through sheer hard work, or maybe just a little bit of a miracle. And much like Survivor Series is people's Thanksgiving tradition, getting together with your family, sitting in front of the TV, and watching a movie for the holidays is a lot of others. And I could probably guess what movies you guys are watching, and I could probably compare them to wrestling whether you like it or not. Because that's just what I do. And by getting right into it, I'm going to alienate half of you. I'm going to say two words that are the face of Christmas. Die hard. Before you click the little X on the top of your screen, give me 1 minute. If you were moving your mouse right now, then I know it's not the face of Christmas to you. But you're not the target demographic. Because we're talking about all-time favorites here. And I've asked a bunch of people, hey, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And a whole third of them has said Die Hard. It must be a Christmas movie then. It hit a particular target audience that are my friends of middle-aged men because it zeroed in. It zeroed in on who it wants to appeal to. Much like a wrestling company should zero in on who it wants to appeal to, be it middle-aged men or little children. Teenage boys, preteen girls, families that just want to watch something with their kids, and they all just want to cheer on their favorite that happens to share the name John. If you didn't click the X yet, I appreciate it because I feel like a lot of the other people just clicked the X comparing John McClane to John Cena.
Are you sure about that?
But let's look at the facts here. You have a man named John climbing the tower, fighting multiple people, no selling moves that would kill a lesser man, and at the end of it coming out kind of unscathed, no different than how he entered. And how he did it is kind of fascinating because there were like hundreds of guards, right? And they just couldn't see him. What we're talking about right now are the heroes of Christmas. Because with every hero, there is a villain. And who is the biggest villain of Christmas? Sometimes you gotta play a part. Sometimes you gotta make people think you're on their side just so you can get so close to taking what you need and then swerving everybody and stealing what you want. Even if that means lying into the face of children. If you want to steal Christmas, you just gotta do a screw job every now and then. Because that's what the Grinch did to Whoville. He performed his own screw job and stole Christmas from children, much like The Rock did at the Deadly Game Survivor Series. The Rock had people believing he was the people's champion before he spit in the face of good old mankind, stole the joy from everyone. But even no matter how despicable he is, we cherish it because the Grinch is the face to a lot of people's childhood. The Rock is the face to a lot of people's childhood. A few bad acts can be forgiven because the Grinch was forgiven because he returned Christmas to Whoville and his heart grew 3 sizes, even though the Grinch was told multiple times from multiple people, die Grinchy die. And speaking of dying, even deathmatch wrestling can be connected to Christmas. For those that are not in the loop, deathmatch wrestling is populated by some of the craziest people in the world who enjoy using items such as thumbtacks, broken glass, chairs, tables, barbed wire. The most unconventional items that you see every day has been used in a deathmatch somewhere, probably in Indiana. If not West Virginia, it's been used in Indiana. And if not in Indiana, then probably Nevada. And if it's not in Nevada, then probably Japan. I don't know. Deathmatch wrestling is pretty unique. But the people who do it are a different breed of human. It seems like a lot of the people who are well known in the deathmatch community have a little bit of a darker past to them. You don't see the world's happiest deathmatcher, or a clean-cut man that just happens to get cut open with light tubes. You see people who have a bit of an edge, who have probably robbed people, who have probably been to jail, who have probably stole, and who've probably threatened the lives of children. much like Harry and Marv. Harry and Marv are the most hardcore of hardcore deathmatchers that the world have ever seen. Doing spots that even Abdullah the Butcher and New Jack would probably be like, hey, that's too much. Can you tone it down a little? And they don't really seem to chase trends. Harry and Marv were taking irons, buckets, flamethrowers, lawnmowers, tarantulas, black tar, and even birds. But not a lot of people like deathmatch wrestling because it's a little bit too violent, and some people say it's killing the business. Jim Cornette would probably hate Harry and Marv. Probably not so much for the deathmatching, they got beat by a child. I can think of one person who collectively has this hate. He is regarded as one of the worst wrestlers of all time. He purposefully does things just to piss people off. He doesn't care about his gear. Can I have a 5 for a beer then? Dude, leave me alone. And you're just like, shut up, go away, just go away. Every time somebody talks to you about your punches looking like trash, they get worse. A big part of your plot revolved around you getting poor, not making any money, everyone hating you. Nobody wanted to be around you. The only people that wanted to be around you was just to fill their own needs. You're depressed. You've probably said offensive things to children. And I would never want to be around either of you. I would never want to be around either of you guys. You would be the worst friends to ever have. Oh, what's that? Your depression's going away now that you got some money? That's neat. Huh, I'm glad you're kind of happy. But I hate you guys. By the way, I love these guys. Bad Santa's a great movie, Baron Corbin's a great wrestler. I would hate to be around both of them. But no matter how much I love them, I love my family more. Because your family is always listening. They might not seem it, they might not be the most well communicated, they might not be the smartest people you know, they might not even be people you want around all the time. But whenever it comes down to it, whenever I'm tired of being bummed out, you can always confide into the one person that's always kind of in the background of your life. And whenever he's on the screen, he's your favorite to look at. I'm talking about, your cousins, like Cousin Eddie. Whenever Cousin Eddie comes, you have no idea he's on his way. He just kind of shows up unannounced. And whenever you think they're only going to be there for a few segments, a few days, they just kind of keep coming back. They keep hanging on. Even though they just won't go away, you don't necessarily hate them because they got a heart of gold. Everything they do, they mean well by it. And I feel the same could be said. Wrestlers like R-Truth, Santino Marella, John Silver. Because whenever these people are on the screen, you're watching, you're listening to what they're saying, and you're having a good time doing it because they bring joy to us, and we love it. But sometimes, no matter how much you love something, the people in charge might not see it. No matter how much sometimes we just don't agree. Sometimes we'd like our favorite character to be the lead. Sometimes we want to see the underdog. We want to see the people we see ourselves in finally get what they deserve. But that's just not how reality is, unless you believe in a Christmas miracle. Some of the greatest Christmas miracles I can think of in wrestling involve when fans take control of the pencil. Whenever the audience make their voices heard to the point to where they cannot be told no. All that can be done is the writers saying yes, yes, yes. Much like Daniel Bryan. Let's just be real, this man was never in the plans to make it to the top of the company like he did. It is a completely natural organic of the fans hijacking the show. He didn't let anybody else stop him because of his flaws, like his size. He just kept growing into the hearts of the fans, much like another person who had a similar story. This person was forgotten, was made fun of, was not looked at in the same caliber as their peers. And no matter how hard they worked, they were always on the sidelines, picked last, and not viewed as equal as their stablemates. Becky was the dark horsewoman. Becky was never supposed to be the face of the women's division until she found out how to shine up her nose oh so bright whenever Becky became the man. Much like our boy Rudolph, all it took was for one red nose to change the course of history for everyone. And then all of the reindeers were shouting with glee, glee. Glee. But those stories were about people chasing a title. And there is only one title that is synonymous with Christmas. Because whenever you put on a title belt, you become the face of your promotion. You become the face of your company. You become the face of wrestling. And sometimes the titles are trophies. Sometimes the titles are belts. Sometimes the titles are briefcases. Sometimes the title's a big red jacket, because everybody knows the movie. Once that man put on the jacket, he couldn't be stopped. He literally buried the man who held it before him, and he made sure he held on to that jacket for decades. And if he didn't bury them, well, he just kind of had them work for him. He always has control. It's in his contract, in the clause, that everything passes through him. And for 3 movies or 3 decades or whatever, he wasn't dropping this title to no one. Because Santa's running wild, brother. And what you gonna do when Happy Holidays run wild on you? But these are just a few examples I had. I asked a list of wrestlers, what are your favorite holiday movies, favorite holiday songs, favorite holiday characters, favorite holiday TV specials? I was expecting a lot of characters, a lot of movies and stuff to compare to wrestling. I got some weird ones, but there's a lot I didn't use for today. And I have a list, and I'm checking it twice. And I got about 30 people here, and I'm thinking about running me a little bit of a show. Maybe even a Kringle Clash, if you will. If I had the ability to get these 30 people into the ring to challenge Santa for the title of Christmas, man, that would be neat, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty cool. Hell, I even got room for a Hallmark of the Beast Scramble if I want to. You know what? Let's do it. The Kringle Clash, hosted by me, Duke Beefhammer, 30-man battle royal. The Hallmark of the Beast Scramble, then the big match of the holidays, brother. Tune in to Kayfabe Combat for the Kringle Clash. My name's Duke Beefhammer, and you can't beat the meat. Later.